tomorrow I'm going to be getting together with some fellow grognards at my favorite local gaming store, and they will be playing the entire Waterloo campaign. Today I want to replay Ligny one more time because I've been doing something a little incorrectly, and it gives the French a definite advantage. They should be entering in column. I'm having them enter in line because it gets them on the board quicker as a force, because it removes the difficulty of having them come out of column and get into line. But that puts some unreal pressure on the Prussians that wasn't there historically. So let's do this right. First off, let's look at the forces coming in column. As you can see, the French Third Corps comes in on its own over here, but then all the rest of the French forces all have to come in on one line, on one road. One of the really tricky parts of this is the chit draw order becomes critical. If the command in front is not drawn first, the command in back will just sit for its turn. That delays everything, and that simulates the confusion and hang-ups that can happen with any large military formation trying to get anywhere. And pub battle simulates this with the chit draw and oncoming forces with several chits being drawn. Turn 1 you have 3rd Corps, 1st Corps, and 2nd Corps, 1st Cavalry Corps and 2nd Cavalry Corps coming on for the French. Now in turn 1, Zieten is already on the map, but you treat it as though he's already been drawn. So in the first turn, 1st and 2nd Cavalry Corps arrive, coming up the road, and Van Damme's 3rd Corps arrives just to their west. The French are in luck. Cavalry 1st Corps has been drawn. Now look what you have here. The cavalry couldn't enter in column, come out of column into line, and then make it close enough to the Prussian forces. There's a stream to cross, and that deducts movement. So they have to stay 1/3 of an infantry move away. So the lead element did that, but now the last block of cavalry can't even get on the map. And now you can see, with the help of my wooden block column marker, how stretched out a formation becomes when it enters on a minor road. The first block is the cavalry. It can raise farther ahead and come out of column into line. But the rest of Van Damme's 3rd Corps is all stretched out. And that's turn 1. So we put all 4 of the previous turn's chits in the cup. The 3 French corps and Zieten's 1st Corps, the Prussians. We consult our guide, and turn 2, Gerard's 4th Corps and Blucher and Persch with the 2nd Corps of the Prussians arrive. This is the 2nd Corps here in column, and they'll be coming down this road. And now we'll begin with the 2nd turn chit draw. First chit drawn is Zieten's 1st Corps, and Zieten likes right where he is. Second chit drawn is Excelmann's 2nd Cavalry Corps, the French. Yes, let's get them on. Next I've drawn French 4th Corps. Now when they come on, they're only going to be able to get on just the tip of the lead unit, unless I can alter the turn order and get Payol's 1st Cavalry out of the way. The first thing I'm going to try to do is get them to jump ahead. No. In this scenario, the French have a leadership rating of 2. They need to roll a 1 or a 2 to successfully alter turn order. Payol, roll a 5. I flip him up, and we're going to flip up Gerard and see if he can delay. No, he cannot. He rolled a 3. So all the moving that 4th Corps will do this turn is right here. Boom. So next turn, Gerard's 4th Corps will get on, because I will have moved 2nd Corps out of the way by then. But the Guard Corps is also supposed to come on, along with Napoleon. If the chit draw doesn't go right for them, they too are going to be backed up. And in fact, they'll be so far back that they may not even get on the map. Alright, let's continue with the rest of the movement. And of course, now Payol's 1st Cavalry Corps is drawn. Let's get them attacking the Prussians and off the road. Van Damme's 3rd Corps. And as you can see, coming out of column and lining up for the battle takes time. It's probably going to be turn 4 at the earliest before Van Damme's 3rd Corps, which came on turn 1, is going to be able to attack. Persch's 2nd Corps comes racing on. Now, as you can see here with the 2 movement sticks that I put down for the infantry movement, that even in road column, an entire Prussian corps is too stretched out, even on a major road, to all come on in one turn. That means next turn, if the chit draws in right and Third Corps has to wait, there's going to be a serious delay for them as well. Now here I believe I've made the first command decision error. I should have followed the major road down here with Second Corps and have them hold up the French cavalry. We're starting here with the combat phase and we'll see what's left of the Prussian line when the French cav gets done with them. The smoke clears and the two Prussian detachments, which was all that was there, have been destroyed. Now Zieten's cavalry has simply fallen back. That leaves a glimmer of hope for the French. For turn 3, we're going to add the French Guard, Napoleon, and Thielmann's 3rd Prussian Corps. Let us watch and see how the French entry develops. First drawn is the French 1st Cavalry. That's beneficial. Next drawn is Prussian 2nd Corps. Now if I wanted to be gamey, what I could do is have Prussian 2nd Corps start turning on all these minor roads, get them off the main road, and have them start blocking the oncoming French. But I don't think actually that's what would have happened. Their orders were to get over here and reinforce Zieten, and at this point nothing has changed their plans. Vandame's 3rd Corps. Boom. And his artillery opens up. Now this time at the end of turn 3, things are looking very different than they have in our past replays. Now the only combat this turn, here you can see that Vandamme has charged Zieten's artillery, which was giving them such grief. Zieten, for his part, was able to race up a formation to try and save the artillery. Vandamme's attack stalled and were forced back in the face of the murderous grape from the Prussian artillery, and Zieten was able to pull his artillery to safety. And it's turn 4, and there's no additional reinforcements coming on this turn. Perhaps we'll start clearing up the clogged arteries that are the French reinforcements. Vandamme's artillery continues its bombardment. Turn 4 combat. Starting on the Prussian left, the French cavalry merely rides away from the infantry attack. I meant to have the Prussian lancers attacking the left flank of the French cavalry line, but I forgot to finish their move. So for whatever reason in this battle, Prussian lancers didn't get their act together. French 4th Corps, assault on Saint-Anand. Although it took its toll, Saint-Anand falls to the French drive. Vandamme's assault on the Prussian right. Although blooded, the Prussians are driven out, and finally purchase cavalry action on the extreme flank. Although heavily contested, there's no decisive result for either side. And now we go to turn 5. With any luck, Napoleon and the Guard, which should have made it up the road on turn 3, will get on this turn, although the rear end of 4th Corps is still in the way. Thielmann's artillery fires, driving back the cav. 4th Corps artillery fires, driving up the Prussian cav. Napoleon and the Guard enter. Now after turn 5 movement, the Guard is almost completely on. 1st and 2nd Cavalry Corps will have their hands full just trying to keep 3rd Corps from breaking up the Guard's flank. Now 4th Corps' assault on the Chateau of Saint-Anand-la-Haye. Zieten's men held. Now you may have noticed that there was a flanking attack, but there's no flanking on units in the Chateau. What it allowed was 3 units to keep attacking. And through some abysmal French rolling, they were only able to do 1 hit, which merely reduced the Prussians to spent. But they held, driving off all the attacks. Now we have 2 Prussian blocks lost and 1 French block lost. Part of what makes the Prussians so tough on defense here is that they've unpacked bags and their units are able to recover. The catch with that is that the bags are exposed now. Again, Vandamme's continued assault on the town. That first attack ends in disaster, another block lost. Vandamme's other unit fell back. It's spent and they need to recover it. They'll attack full strength at a later time. Now it's turn 6, and the French 6th Corps under Lobau arrives. Well, that actually depends on how the chit draw goes. They may not get on this turn. Well, clean up in aisle 5. Forgot this cavalry combat over here on the French right. And in desperate fighting, both units are eliminated. What that actually means, not that they fought each other to the last horseman died, but that they so exhausted themselves that they're no longer able to participate in today's combat. They're off the map for now. Alright, back to turn 6 chit draw. We open with Thielmann's Prussian 3rd Corps. Thielmann's artillery fires. Excelmann's cavalry runs off. Lobau's 6th Corps is drawn. They roll to delay. No. This means there'll be an entire turn delayed, or an entire move delayed, getting onto the board. And in fact, if Milo's 4th Cav is delayed behind the guard and doesn't move, they'll be held back 2 turns, which is like the rest of the day. Zieten's men in Senon-Saint-Lahai receive supplies from the unpacked bags and are brought back up to full strength. And his artillery opens up on the French artillery. Now the 4th Cavalry Corps is drawn. They need to delay and go after the guard, but they're stuck right there. They fail, and they flip these HQs up to show that they've attempted to alter turn order. There is still hope for 4th Corps. If Napoleon's guard can jump ahead, everything will be fine. Oh, and they do. Napoleon, you wunderkind. French guard moves first. Napoleon's guard cuirassiers were able to come out of column last turn, so this turn they have their full move available to them, and they use the charge rule to silence that artillery. The artillery is overrun and eliminated. Score for the guard. And now Milo's 4th Cavalry Corps can move. The way is clear. Now when Lobau's 6th Corps comes on, Napoleon liked to have them come on and go over here to the French left, where there's been extensive casualties. But 4th Corps has a block, literally blocking the road net. Hopefully, 4th Corps will go before Lobau's 6th Corps. And Purchas's 2nd Corps Prussian artillery attempts to drive the French cav right off the map. Which they do. Seems like a waste of 3 6s on a roll, but what can you say? They're off the map, which makes them count as eliminated. The exhausted French 4th Corps units, after 2 turns of assaulting Saint-Anand-Lahai fruitlessly, receive succor from their unpacked bags. Vandame's exhausted 3rd Corps recovers, repositions, and moves its artillery up to a better vantage point. Excelmann's cavalry recovers, continues to hold the line. Seeing Milo's 4th Corps cavalry arriving, Payol's exhausted 1st Corps cavalry give ground. And at the end of turn 6, there's no actual combat that I can see. This is a turn of rest and recovery. Turn 7. Alright, first drawn is 2nd Corps, Prussian 2nd Corps. Now Blucher realizes he's got a situation on his hands. The French Cuirassier Guard cav is right here, and here are his unpacked bags. 2nd Corps throws 2 blocks in to cover the bags. Now a new rule, it's not the official rule yet, but it'll be coming out in the next edition of the rules, is that if the enemy can't merely contact the bags, they have to contact the bags and you can't have any friendly units guarding your bags. So now I've got 2 units guarding the bags, and these will have to be destroyed before the bags themselves are considered attacked. The artillery will be repositioned to cover the bags. They just need to hold for 2 more turns. And now the guard is drawn. The guard cav recovers, and the young guard and the middle guard move up to trouble Zieten's cav. The rest of the guard crosses over the swamp and gains the hill. Excelmann's 2nd Corps cav position themselves to frustrate any Prussian advances on the French right. 3rd Corps holds its position, its artillery fires. Gerard's 4th Corps tries again at the chateau of Lahai, of Saint-Anand-Lahai. Zieten's 1st Corps, under the influence of Blucher, counterattacks. Right here, across the bridge, into the French flank. We'll see how that goes. And his cavalry falls back. And now Mihaud's cavalry decides to end this stalemate on the French right. as Pale's cavalry recovers. Thielmann's troops fall back east of Ligny, forming a line, and their artillery fires through this shot sleeve at Milo's advancing cav. Not without effect. And finally, Lobau's 6th Corps should have been on last turn, and this turn they'll get all the way to this point. Of course, they have to switch to a minor road, which will stretch them out and slow them down. But at least somebody's on the map. Now here we are in turn 8. Some time ago, a revision had been made to the Waterloo rules, and they increased the scenario timeline to 8 turns. They cleaned a lot of things up by doing that. I had forgot about that change. I had a copy of the new rules, but I hadn't really paid attention to it. I'm so used to it being a 7-turn day. So now, there are 8 turns in every day. Even though the armies don't actually start moving on the 16th and the 18th till late in the morning, they run much later into the night. Nevertheless, here we are with one last day turn. Again, I forgot about the combat. We have the renewed attack on St. Anand-la-Haye. It has taken the entire day, but the French seem to have driven the Prussians from St. Anand-la-Haye. I say seem because even though they've been driven out, if they get the Chitral move first, they can move right back in. Whether or not they want to do that is a whole nother thing. And here we have Blucher's flank assault on the French line. It is successful. The French unit is destroyed. Good old Marshal Vorwart. Alright, here we go with turn 8. The French 4th Corps will occupy St. Anand with fresh troops. Excelmann's cavalry holds its position. The Prussians are in a town, cavalry can't attack in a town. Blucher, in utter audacity, takes the victorious Prussian troops that were so good last turn and turns them on the French heavy cav. And Lobau's 6th Corps comes on. And racing on, they almost get on the map. And now the Guard. Now the trick the Guard has up its sleeve is its charge attack capability. Units can charge during the movement phase and resolve combat. Now you see the reason for my delaying action. The Guard's heavy cav must deal with this detachment that's been placed in front of it. Which they do. Wait, it's not a detachment, but it is militia. Prussian Landwehr versus French cuirassiers. They're destroyed, but the cuirassiers have to fall back. They suffered 3 hits. Cuirassiers must will come up with some kind of desperate square that was unexpected. But now the Young Guard attacks. They too are driven back by Tippelkirch's division. So now the Grenadiers attack. Though the Prussians are driven back, the Grenadiers are stopped. So Napoleon commits the Old Guard. All that's left is some Landwehr. If they retreat and the Guard is still there, the Prussian bags are sacked. Well, they held out for 1 round, but the 2nd round, they collapsed. So the last attack of the day, with the Old Guard, captured the Prussian bags. It was a massive battle. I mean, all 3 of the Guard infantry blocks are spent. The 1 Guard cavalry block is spent. This was no easy task. This was a desperate battle. But now next turn is the night turn. In the night turn there's no combat, obviously. And it's also the onset of the heavy, heavy, heavy rain. Starting with the night turn, cavalry and artillery can only move on roads, in column. The wet goes through this night turn, all of tomorrow, and the night turn of the 17th. No combat, cavalry and artillery can only move on roads, and everyone scrambles to set up for the showdown on the 18th. That was close, that was intense, and the Prussians did a heck of a job guarding their bags. Good game.